Mutual fund shares are valued daily after the exchanges have closed. A customer's purchase of mutual fund shares is executed at the next price computed after receipt of the order by the customer's broker-dealer. This practice is known as forward pricing. Similarly, when a mutual fund shareholder redeems shares of the fund, they are bought back by the issuer at the next price computed after receipt of the order for redemption. An OSJ is defined as any office where one or more of the following functions take place: order execution and/or market making, structuring of public offerings or private placements, maintaining custody of customer funds or securities, review and endorsement of customer orders, and final approval of retail communications. If the beneficial owner of street name stock returns a signed proxy statement but fails to indicate how the shares are to be voted, the member must vote the shares as recommended by management of the issuer. A member must maintain minimum coverage of no less than 120% of its net capital requirement. However, if the amount of minimum net capital exceeds $250,000, then the amount is pegged in the Fidelity Bond Coverage Table. From $300,001 to $500,000, a net capital requirement policy must be purchased by the member for $700,000. Fidelity bonding policies are renewable annually, and members are required to review the adequacy of their coverage each year. A convicted felon is barred from the securities business for 10 years. SEC rules require that broker-dealers send customers changes in their account records on or before 30 days after notice of the change. Broker-dealers are further required to furnish copies of customer account records at intervals no greater than 36 months. The OTC market includes equity issues not listed on NASDAQ or any other U.S. exchange such as the NYSE American. Under the conflict of interest rules, research analysts are prohibited from participating in roadshows relating to any investment banking transaction. Trace reporting rules require that both sides report the trade to Trace. An issuer purchasing its own securities may pay no more than the highest independent bid or last sale, whichever is higher. Issuers must notify the market where the security principally trades at least 10 days in advance of the record date as to when that date will be. This allows the market sufficient time to set and publish the ex-date. Registrations on the Do Not Call list must be maintained indefinitely. This matches the FTC's telemarketing sales rule. With certain exceptions, new members must pre-file retail communication used in the public media. Help-wanted advertisements, even blind ads, need not be submitted by established members. They are instead subject to spot checks. All member firms are required to file their retail communications regarding security futures at least 10 business days prior to first use. Rule 147: stock cannot be sold to a non-resident of the state for a period of 6 months. Designated market makers, DMMs, are the only market participants that assume accountability for maintaining a fair and orderly market in assigned stocks. DMMs manage a physical auction, which combines with an automated auction that includes algorithmic quotes from other DMMs and market participants. They are required to meet NYSE depth and continuity standards. To encourage participation and thereby bolster market quality, DMMs are on parity with the display book and floor broker quotes. In other words, they may compete. All of the factors listed are used to determine whether a member firm has used reasonable diligence to ascertain the best inter-dealer market for the subject security. Whether prints are pressed electronically or on FINRA-authorized cards, the firm is obligated to maintain a record of prints for not less than 3 years after termination of that person's employment or relationship with the organization. A personal relationship exception under the cold calling rule means any family member, friend, or acquaintance of the AP who makes an outbound telephone call. If a customer signs and returns a proxy statement and fails to indicate how the shares are to be voted, the member must vote the shares as recommended by management of the issuer. If, however, the customer does not return the proxy by the 10th day before the annual meeting, the member may vote the shares as it sees fit as long as the matters to be voted on are of minor importance. If the matters are of major importance, e.g., a merger or the issuance of additional shares, the member may never vote the shares. Under the 5% policy, factors to be taken into consideration when determining a markup/commission include dollar amount of the trade, size and difficulty of the trade, and any special costs incurred. The relevant price from which to mark up the security is the current market price, not the actual cost of the shares in inventory. On the ex-date for cash dividends, those orders entered below the current market price are reduced by the amount of the dividend. Buy limits and sell stops are entered below the prevailing market. A cash account does not require a customer's signature. A margin account requires that the margin agreement be signed, while a discretionary account requires that a customer sign a trading authorization. In the case of a trust account, a document granting trading authority to the designated persons must be signed. The most recent 2 years' worth of records must be readily accessible.